Thank you all for coming tonight. Tonight is our Board of Supervisors meeting for March 23, 2026. Prior to tonight's meeting, we did have executive session to discuss personnel issues as well as legal issues involving Lennox, Link, and Wolchinski. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, A and B, B through 1 through 7? Six. Sorry, hold on. There we go. Oh yeah, okay, 6. I knew I was missing something.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we can see now. Confirmed appointments, none. Board appointments. We have 2 board appointments tonight for the Park and Rec Committee. One is a 4-year term and one is a 1-year term. Can I get a motion to approve those candidates for the 4-year term and the 1-year term? If anybody wants to make a recommendation.
Make a recommendation to appoint Ashley James to the 4-year term.
Okay. And is there a second for that?
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a motion to appoint someone to the 1-year term.
I make a motion to appoint Scott Payne to a 1-year term.
Okay, all those in favor?
I'll
Is there a second?
Yes, I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And just to note something, it's really impressive that we have that many people interested in helping out and serving the township. It's a great thing. If you are interested and you did not receive a position on Park and Rec, we will be having some subcommittees, so there's room for everybody. Okay, solicitor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing on the solicitor's report is a data center ordinance. We've data centers, as you may know, have become the big point of concern, contention, particularly here in southeastern Pennsylvania. We are in need of a data center ordinance. I was authorized to prepare that. Right now, we have a draft, and I'm seeking authorization from the board to send that out to the planning commissions, because the planning commissions, both the county and the local one, have to have review, and we also have to advertise that in advance of having a public hearing on it eventually. So at this point, I'm just looking for that motion to approve the advertising and distribution of the data ordinances, or data ordinance, to the planning commissions.
Okay, can we get a motion to approve advertising for ordinance 2026-002?
And this is
For the
this is just for their review, right? So they review this isn't posting it for.
No, that will come later.
Right.
So
and then
motion
we'll move on to a hearing eventually.
Got it. Okay.
So motion to put it in front of planning. Ordinance 2026-002. Is that more accurate, Jack?
Yeah, that's more accurate for distribution to the planning commissions.
Okay.
Got it.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second, Cal.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
I also have 2 zoning hearing board appeals, which I will need direction from the board or whether or not you think I should attend. The first one involves Andrew and Jennifer McCougan. Are they here by any chance? Don't think so. Okay, this is a simple lot line change. There's a provision in your ordinance which prohibits flag lots under 10 acres in size. These are existing properties. They want to reconfigure the lot line, which would result in a 7+ acre flag lot. So it's, this really probably isn't the type of thing that the provision was concerned with in the first place, 7-acre flag lot versus a 10-acre flag lot. So wouldn't think that was something you would want me to attend, or the board has any strong feelings about, rather have the zoning hearing board decide this?
Jim?
I think the zoning hearing board can handle it.
Joe? All right,
I have no
get
thoughts.
that night off.
All right, and the second one I have from you is a little more interesting. It's a request by John Travis Martin. Is Martin here by any chance? This is This application is seeking a variance to erect a detached accessory building within 15 yards of the setback as opposed to the 25 feet. That's not the interesting part. The interesting part is the accessory building is an accessory ag building on a 1.19 acre lot where accessory uses, ag accessory uses require 2 acre lot. He wants to use this to house a couple of goats.
So,
I don't know. I actually, growing up, we had some folks nearby who had a couple of goats named Max and Maud. They were perfectly delightful.
is that after?
That
they
could
cook?
be just those goats. I
Yes.
don't
How
know.
well did you know him?
Yeah. Did they,
If you turned your back on Maud, she would butt you in the, well, they call it butting, so you can guess. And but otherwise, they were fine. I think a lot of these provisions in terms of ag accessory have to do with the perhaps the nuisance quality of the livestock or whatever. This isn't a herd of goats. This is 2 pot-belly pigs and the same thing as a pig farm. I would suggest to you 1 rooster would probably be a lot more disturbing than 2 goats. I don't know if you really need to send me off to this one either.
My question was, so for a goat, they recommend 10 square foot with pasture, 20 to 30 square feet without pasture. And this barn's 440 square feet. So what are they doing? You telling me 2 goats are gonna live in the size of a house?
Yeah, it's a little confusion. It's hand drawn, but at the same time, I imagine
It
the
looks
zoning
busy.
hearing board will pick this apart.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. That'd be my question for them. We're on the hearing board, but I'm not, so.
lawn maintenance.
I don't know what they're doing. It's a big barn for 2 goats.
It
but-
is.
Maybe they're really big goats.
Yes, they must be. But other than that,
Other than that, I have
I
nothing.
don't care. You can stay home as far as I'm concerned, Joe.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
All right,
I'll
good.
take the night off from the goat hearing.
please.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Jack. Planning, Mr. Fulmer.
Okay, the only item under planning tonight is the Diamond Street property subdivision sketch plan. Here tonight are some representatives of WB Homes. They'd like to present a concept for your consideration, just for input. There's no action required in this. It's only a sketch plan. They were planning to attend the Planning Commission meeting, which unfortunately got canceled last Monday night because of the weather. They are going to be coming to the next Planning Commission meeting, though. But in the meantime, they want to come before the board and share their proposal. Mr. Canavan, if you want to come up to the podium here and speak into the microphone. This involves 3 properties, contiguous properties at the southeast corner of Route 113 and Diamond Street. They're looking to develop this for residential single-family homes. And again, there's a sketch plan review in your packet from my office dated March the 3rd. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Canavan.
Good evening. Chris Canavan, I'm the president of WB Homes. Thank you for allowing me to attend this evening. Just a brief presentation, just to introduce the property, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. We are the equitable owners of the 3 tracts of ground. We have not purchased the property. We are working with the underlying owner on this application. The property is at the corner of 113 and Diamond Street. There is a farm at the corner, and then I think pretty much everybody knows Boyd's Auto Salvage that was on the adjacent piece. That is in the process of being cleaned up to a certain extent at this point, and we are going through the environmental review, both the phase 1 and phase 2 on that property to bring it up to a residential standard. There were some areas that were in need of soil removal and cleanup. Quite frankly, not as much as I thought there would be based on the report. So we would be, of course, when we move forward, submitting those for review with the township as well, so that's proven. The other interesting dynamic on this piece of property, as many of you know, about not midway, maybe a third of the way from 113 along Diamond in the aerial that you see here is a creek that runs through the property and segregates the 2 sides. That's also where the sewer line runs, right along that creek. The proposal here would be to develop the area that is to the left of the creek and leave the rest as open space. I'm sorry, we jumped ahead. Can I just go to the zoning map real quick? The reason we are here this evening is this property happens to be at the confluence of multiple zoning districts. I have it outlined in sort of a bright blue on the plan. To the northwest of the property, you have your CR1 and your CR2 zoning district in yellow and blue. Around the bottom of it, and what it is zoned is the RR. Immediately to the east of it is your mobile home park zoning, and then it also abuts Silverdale Borough on two of the sides. So there are a lot of different, things going on adjacent to this property. So we've looked at it in two ways, if we can go to the next plan. Of course, the plan that we would not prefer is the one I didn't render. It was just the black and white. We'll get to the pretty rendering one in one moment. But this would be under your RR zoning district. This is a 42-lot subdivision using the conservation management design with a minimum of 20,000 square feet lots. And that each of those lots would meet that. That would end up with about 63.3 acres of open space protected with this plan. And that would be, it's a possibility to develop it that way. We have public water and sewer in that area. I wouldn't say is as nice a design as it could be, but it would work for this particular property. What we are interested in doing, though, if we could go to the next plan, and I'm just giving you the short version of this, and then we can talk in greater detail, would be to rezone it to CR1, and then you use your B4 performance standard subdivision for your minimum lot sizes. These are 11,000 square foot lots on the property, which allows for a more creative location of open space, both with a center green for recreation space and the preservation of the outer perimeter of the open space. As you can see, there's a green buffer around the entire property as well, rather than properties abutting up to other properties in that area. This is 57 lots. Now, if you look at the sketch plan, and you note in Mr. Fulmer's letter too, there's a significantly greater density that could be in your CR1 than what we have shown here. We would be, if the board had an inclination that this rezone made more sense from a good planning standpoint, we would put a voluntary deed restriction on the property that we would develop this property in accordance with a plan like this with this level of density, so there wouldn't be a concern that rezone it to CR1 and then you come back with a plan for 100 plus lots. That's not the nature of this. We think this is a better layout for single family homes, and quite frankly, the economics of cleaning up the Boyd tract and the environmentals on there, it's a little bit more pricey of a property to do than what would have been in clean ground, so we're trying to make sure the economics work for the overall property. This would also allow us to have, while there's a few more lots, each of the houses would be slightly more affordable than they would be under the 20,000 square foot lot plan, which I think in the environment we're in is better for the overall community as well. There'll still be, don't get me wrong, high-end single-family homes, but on slightly smaller lots. Our experience with building homes in this day and age, this is really what people are looking for when they're buying into a residential development. Little less lawn to maintain, but surrounded by open space and access to that open space. So my purpose really this evening is to introduce this to you, lay out what our preference would be. We're fully recognizing Mr. Fulmer's review letter, and whichever plan we would move forward with, we would obviously work to comply with all of the comments. We are not looking to change anything with any of your ordinances. This would be a simple petition for a map amendment. If we were to move forward with that petition, we're just trying to see what the temperature is for that with you and with your planning commission. Otherwise, we would intend on conforming with your zoning ordinances as written. It would just really be a question of if a map amendment made sense for what we think is a better layout and a better plan, a little bit more creative, provides better open space. You end up with 3 more acres of open space. The other plan had 63.3. This ends up with 66.83 acres of open space, even with the additional ground. And as I said, it's a better buffer all the way around the property. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. And just as reference, many of you may know, we are developing the project, the townhome project down the street in the middle of Silverdale Borough currently from a reference standpoint.
Chris, can you take me through I apologize, can you take me through the surrounding zoning, what's currently around
So
the outside?
on this particular plan,
This plan, yes.
to the northeast of this plan is small lot single zoning in Silverdale Borough.
Okay.
To the upper left corner, you have the middle school. And across the street from us on 113 is I'm not sure what used to be there. It was like a stockyard there at one
It's a
point.
township, municipal
Facility at
yard,
one
yep,
point.
Yep.
And then that's also CR1 in that area. And then the area along the creek, from the creek to 113 below it, you end up in your CR2 zoning district. And then adjacent to the open space below is your RR. And then you have your mobile home park zoning on the other side of the open space to the top.
Off of Marigan.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
area that would
Yep.
be the upper area to
Okay.
the east of the property. So I'd say, and the tract of ground that is a nicely wooded tract of ground that's the predominant open space would be nice to keep as a permanent open space in that area and focus the development really on the area that's already been impacted between the auto salvage and then, there's a number of farm buildings and other things on the adjacent Schmale farm that would be torn down and redeveloped in that area.
The auto salvage portion of the property, it's to the
That would be the area
left
where you
of the creek, right?
To the left of the creek where you see the
Yes.
arced road and the cul-de-sac.
Yes.
The houses on the right, and then the houses on the left of that road would be the auto salvage.
Okay.
And then everything in the sort of Y shape would be the Schmale farm. And there is, if you look at the plan too, just for full disclosure, I think you're all familiar with, there's that AT&T easement that runs sort of willy-nilly through Hilltown Township. We've already been in touch with them about the relocation of that, and they're 100% fine with that, to relocate that on the property.
So you're talking a full cleanup then of the auto salvage
Correct.
that's currently there.
And remove that as any potential future use.
Okay, that's all I have.
And we've shown, and that would be entirely up to you, we've shown you're meeting your ordinance provision, which is to run on either plan a cul-de-sac to the adjacent property line. Whether that's actually a feasible future connection would be something that during planning, and if we get past the zoning stage, we would talk through and figure out if that's appropriate. We're fine either way.
And then, one more thing, I'm sorry. And the change is from 40 to 57 lots, is that correct?
42 to 57.
42 to 57,
Yeah.
okay.
And under zoning under R, it would be allowed up to 45. We just showed a plan with 42.
Okay.
So it's not a significant unit count change.
Okay. That's all I have, Caleb. Thanks. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
So to be fair, the only residents that would come in contact with this that don't have a roadway between it are a few in Silverdale?
Yes.
To the north?
Yeah.
Besides the huge buffer, obviously.
Right.
And is there a difference? I noticed different color on the map. There's no difference between the interior house size and the exterior?
There is, the only difference is within your ordinance, under the performance standard subdivision, they require two different lot types. And the blue lots are your conventional lot, and then the interior lots are a zero lot line. So one side of the lot has a shallower setback, side yard setback than the other.
Gotcha.
Conventionally, they'll be the same houses. It's just the way the lots get laid out.
Gotcha. Joe?
No. Right now.
Good. Jack, anything? Tim, you already had your shot, so.
It's okay.
Just for
I don't have a vote.
reference.
That's true.
What's
Any comments, Tim, or anything we should be aware
Go
of?
ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Explain
Go ahead.
on the process to change the actual zoning. Are there certain requirements that need to be met, or how does?
Yeah, there'll be an advertising hearing process similar to a zoning, a text amendment or something, but this will be a map change. If you, for those, were you here for Quiet Acres? Was that before you? Okay, so for the other two guys, it's going to be similar to the Quiet Acres situation where we literally just moved a line over
Right.
and captured one more piece of property.
Got it.
We would file a petition for you guys to consider that.
Correct.
Got it.
Is there anything we should know about this plan, Tim, that's not obvious?
No. I mean, both are cluster subdivisions, I call them, in terms of the B3 or the B4 uses. I mean, if you were following the RR current zoning, it's still a cluster option. with smaller, but the lots are not as small, as Chris said, as the, would be available to them in the B4 use. So obviously, with the smaller lot size, it can make things a lot more condensed and preserve much more of the, the rest of the property as open space, if that appeals. But no, there's really nothing, I mean, like Chris said, anything that's in my review, whether it's going to be for the current zoning or the future potential change, they're going to have to comply with. And I guess the only other thing I'd say is if there is a restrictive covenant of some sort that they're voluntarily, you'd want to, obviously, if it's 57 lots, if that's the magic number, that the plan works for them and that's what they're going to stipulate to, then you're assured that no matter what happens in the future, if it's rezoned, then that's what that has to be done. Because obviously there could be a lot, and even the dwelling types.
Could be different, right?
Right, so you're going to stipulate 57 single-family lots of those two types. If you, I don't know what the percentage of open space is on the B4, is that almost 70% open space?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the requirement, when you look at the open space on here, there's 75% open space. The ordinance only requires 50. So we're significantly in addition to what would be required under that. And we would basically prepare a legal document. You have nothing to do with it. It's our voluntary recording that would, we're restricting ourselves to what can be done on that property, to the number of units, and generally in accordance with a plan like this, subject to change by the, your action. But I think that would typically be handed in, filed along with the petition, so that sort of reads, if the zoning goes through, these restrictions go in place.
Okay. Well, I'm only one person, but I assume we'll hear from you after planning, so.
Okay.
You're going back to plan?
We're going to planning just to get their feedback. We're really looking to just get the temperature. We don't want to waste anybody's time.
Sure.
But we think
We don't
there's a
wanna
good
waste
idea here, and if it's a good idea, then we would move forward with the petition.
I'm not against them going to plan, not.
I would say
Yeah.
we'll talk to you after
Yeah.
planning.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening.
Thanks, Chris.
Tim, back
Okay,
to you.
and on to engineering. First item under engineering is the 2026 road maintenance projects. We're seeking the board's authorization tonight to advertise for bids for the Public Works project that's planned for this summer. Basically, there's two seal coat type options that are in the bids. First would be a single application of asphalt seal coat on Welcome House Road and Frontier Road. And then there would also be a single application of asphalt seal coat with fog seal on a section of West Creamery Road between Callow Hill Road and Telegraph Road. That section would be completed that way. And also a good portion of Fair Hill Road up to the, we'll call it the bridge over 309. That section would be also part of the plan. So what we're seeking tonight is just your authorization to put this out to bid. We have all the documents prepared. The Public Works has looked over them, as has admin. And it's ready to go on to bidding in April for potentially bid opening at the end of April and a tentative award at the end of April. So that's what we're looking for.
Very good. Can I get a motion to authorize to advertise for bids for the 2026 road maintenance projects?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the next item, the last item I have is our annual stormwater talk. I know it's a crowd favorite here, so I'll let plenty of time for public comment. I see everybody's anxious. So the first thing I want to point out, obviously we're under the MS4 program at DEP. We have certain requirements we have to achieve, as always. So the one thing I do want to point out, a little bit of a highlight for this year, is the Bucks County Planning Commission is in the process of updating its Act 167 stormwater plan for the entire county, which basically sets forth requirements for each watershed that exists within the county, and then they come up with those requirements that we have to implement in our ordinance. It's basically things like peak rate reduction and volume control for these watersheds. So right now we do have requirements on our ordinance for this stuff, but they are trying to comprehensively amend that plan to upgrade those requirements. So at some point, I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be, but, and they're also working in tandem with the MS4 program, because the MS4 program is also, the state is also updating some of their requirements. What we're liable to have happen at some point is, I'm going to be coming back to you saying we need to amend our stormwater ordinance to bring it up to compliance with the new Act 167 plan and also the MS4 plan. We can do it at one time and hopefully catch all that stuff. So that's the first highlight. I just want to tell you that that's in process, although it hasn't gotten to us yet to actually act on anything, but that's coming. Second thing, just to point out, just to remind you, we still have a lot of work to do on our pollution reduction plan projects. We're a little bit behind schedule on that just for various reasons. We have so many projects to do. Some of the projects weren't feasible. So we are still working on that, and we have given DEP sort of a tentative schedule of how we can proceed on that, which they have. We did have an audit last year from DEP. They came out, met with us for the better part of a day here, went through our program benchmarks, toured the facilities here. So we did get a passing grade on that, so that's accomplished. And also I'd like to highlight that your Public Works Department always has to go through some educational review on things. That's requirement of DEP that they do that. They've already done it this year. So we're ahead of the game on that. So that was good. And also we got a renewed NPDES permit. Our old one was expiring last year, was applied for. We have a renewed one, which will now expire on July 31st, 2029. So we're in the next cycle of that. We do always, every year, file your annual report by the end of September, which we've been doing for the last several years now. We'll continue to do that. And the most important thing tonight, I want to emphasize, is now is the time for any board questions or public questions or comments regarding what I just talked about or anything to do with stormwater.
Okay.
So,
Well, I thought that was fantastic, Tim.
Yes.
Any questions?
While this has been a riveting discussion, I have none.
okay.
Joe?
I'm
I
not
agree.
disappointed.
Is there,
Better than expected.
is there any public comment? Okay, seeing none.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business, none. New business. Take it away, Dr. Ferry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to approve update to EMS call boxes. This is on the agenda for tonight based off of the relocation of VMSC, one of our EMS providers, to a new station attached to Perseverance Fire Company. They officially moved. There was no notice that was received by the township. The move had been initiated back in September. They did just close recently in February. So everything has been finalized. We had the county rerun call boxes with their new location, and this would just be approval to sign off on authorization to amend those call boxes affected along the 309 corridor.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve updated EMS call boxes?
This was done by the county, correct?
Correct.
These call boxes,
The county
yes.
mapped it, yes.
County mapped it. So moved.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Is there any public comment? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. The next motion is to approve advance payment for Schaubert EMS from budgeted line item for EMS services. This year in the 2026 budget, we had increased that budget line item from $42,000 to $110,000 to better fund our EMS providers. That funding is split between 4 service providers that we have throughout the township. This would be an advance, a $38,500 advance on what is already budgeted for Schaubert, so that they may pay off a payment that's due in June for a LifePak 35 cardiac monitor. We have the chief of Schaubert EMS with us tonight, Cliff McGavin, okay, sorry, who can talk more on it if you choose. If not, it would be put to motion for the board.
Okay. Jim, would you like to hear from the chief? Or would you like to make a motion?
Both.
Joe, you already here?
Chief, would you mind coming up to the podium?
So the
Thank you.
chief- Let's hear it. Let's hear from him.
I agree.
If you could, Chief, just explain what this product does, where
Sure.
it is.
Yeah, so we currently bought new monitors last year. Our old monitors were actually unregulated by the FDA, so we had to purchase 2 new cardiac monitors. And these monitors are used to obtain EKG readings, defibrillate somebody that's in cardiac arrest, and do basic vital signs. So the advancement would be to pay off the part of the loan that's on those monitors that is due in June, like Deanna said.
So this, to clarify, this wouldn't pay them off. This is just part of
This
the
is
payment.
the second payment from 4 payments, I
Okay.
believe, yeah.
When's the next
Yeah, I
one?
was just gonna say, yeah.
Not until 2027. I don't have it. I can email it to you guys. though,
That's
yeah.
all right, 27 works. Next year,
Next year, yeah.
probably around the same time, I'm guessing.
I would.
I think one's in January, one's in June.
Okay. Any questions from the board? What do we have, Chief, up there?
Not correct. No, so this is money we already had budgeted. This is not like it's on top of what was not budgeted.
Correct. So this
Okay.
amount that would be in advance at this time would be then deducted from their annual allocation once we get final call volume, as we pay out our EMS providers based on call volume every year.
But, so Cliff, we received, are we talking through this package?
Sure, why not?
So this is actually part of a larger funding request, correct?
Correct. So this year we're working towards kind of paying off some debt and then working for a sustainable funding plan for 2027 from all of the municipalities. So our board of directors, myself now, and the managers from every municipality that we serve are working as a part of one big workforce to create sustainable funding for 2027. And we actually just sent our response letter today to the municipal workforce group,
The
granting
board was
QuickBook access, everything else that was asked for from the original meeting. So mainly the goal of the workforce is financial transparency with our municipalities and just overall transparency about where our money's going and how much it costs to run the service.
How much cash do you have right now?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. We have a bookkeeper, but I believe it's somewhere in the roundhouse of $120,000.
And when are you still estimating you'll be out of funds mid-year? Is that?
Like I said, I don't do the finances. Our treasurer does, but I can get an updated report from her and send it to you
You're the
guys.
chief though, right?
Correct, of operations.
How are you not
We're-
familiar with the finances?
Yeah, we're working through some challenges, so that's the part of the municipal workforce group. And like, I've only been here for 8 months, so we're actively working towards the new board members that just came on and kind of refreshing our board as well.
Okay, so what are we supposed to do with we have this whole package here about $300,000. Essentially, you're gonna go out of business.
I can't
And you-
speak for, go ahead.
Who can speak to this?
Our board, so our board is actually working with the municipal advisory board that consists of Deanna and the other township managers, and we've met twice already, and all of those questions are being answered via email, via our response letter
So
from our board.
Cliff, I think it would be helpful if you would be able to just provide a little bit more information along the lines of what we've all discussed in those meetings in terms of the situation going on with Shalbert, just so that the board can have a bit more information. They have received the package and the information
Sure.
that you have provided.
Okay.
But understandably, without them speaking to you directly, they do have some questions
Sure.
prior to approving this advance.
Sure. So currently our challenge is that with the expansion of the 159 station, the 159 station, it's not sustaining itself. So there's not enough call volume in this area. There's not enough municipal funding in this area to sustain that singular station. So the part of the municipal workforce group was to provide transparency, show where the money is going, and to work on a plan for 2027, whether that is more municipal funding, breaking it out by municipality. We're kind of doing a total overhaul of how we're funded and how we spend money, which is, again, part of the municipal workforce group, is to allow the municipalities in to see where the money is going and where the deficits are.
But right now, you don't know how you guys ended up?
Yeah, we do. It was the 159 expansion. So the 159 station is not sustaining itself based off of call volume or payer mix. I apologize. I would have printed out the whole report.
Oh,
I don't
no,
have
I
it in
thought
front of
you
me.
were coming
I
in.
didn't expect to.
How long has 159 been open?
I believe we're coming up on a year and a half, Justin? Almost two? June of 24. So we have a year's worth of data now from station 159, and we're combing through that, and we're finding out that that station, based off of call volume and what the municipalities fund, is not sustaining itself with just call volume, and it's a whole formula.
I think we knew that a year and a half ago, didn't we?
I did not.
No.
I was not. I was not actually employed when 159 opened. I've only been here for 8 months, so 159 was already open when I got here.
Okay.
Sounds like it was open before you had commitments from municipalities. So
That
how
would
is
be
it gonna
correct.
funded?
That would be correct.
Okay.
So with $100,000 in the bank, to me, it doesn't seem like we need to approve this right now. What's your cash, well, do you guys know what your cash runway is? How long's $100,000?
I have all of that on the QuickBooks, which is on my computer. I can email it to you guys and Deanna again if you'd like.
If it's not my preference would be to hold on advancing any funds until
When is
we
it
get
due?
some more information.
June 1st.
June 1.
From time of
Got
approval,
time.
when would it be
Yeah.
submitted to them?
I'm sorry.
If we were to approve it, how long does it take to get money in their hands?
We would need a week.
A week.
I can include you guys on the email chain if you'd like, and you can ask any direct questions or.
We're not getting your
We're not getting
emails
the
for some
emails
reason.
for some
Okay.
reason.
You'll have to, if you send it directly to Deanna, she can send
Okay.
it to us.
And Deanna's been included on all communication. She's actually part of the group.
Yep.
So.
So even, I know you had said when I was out on maternity leave, you had tried to correspond with the board.
I have. I sent
So-
multiple emails just trying to introduce
We did-
myself.
We
So-
have nothing.
Okay.
for you.
We're not sure what's going on, and I can talk to our IT person tomorrow, but
Okay.
actually the email that you sent this evening, I was the only one that received it.
Okay.
We were all
Board
copied.
didn't
You
get
did see
it.
I copied. They were
And
all
they
the
were
correct
copied,
emails.
but
Yeah, I
they
got them
didn't
right off the
receive it.
website.
Just not
Okay.
getting it.
So you might be being stopped by firewall or something could be going on. So I'll talk to our IT person
Okay,
tomorrow.
great. Thank you.
I understand the need
Any
for
other
it.
questions?
I understand the need for it, and I understand where it's going. I understand that it's allocated to you, but I don't really have a lot of confidence right now in what's going on there.
Yeah, and I think that's
Questions
the
and
point of the municipal workforce group, is to get our board, the township managers, and everybody in one room to answer questions.
Yeah, I think we're unaware of the 120,000 cash that they currently have.
And that was all included in the packets on email in a presentation.
In this presentation that we have now?
In a presentation that was sent out to the municipal workforce group. I'm not sure what you guys got.
Did you see?
Which presentation?
The presentation that we gave in person, I emailed out to everybody. And that included actual cash flow, our current bank statements.
The one from last month.
For the in-person meeting, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yep, we included everything. We included the letter, all of the PowerPoints, and the QuickBook information that was
So
asked for.
That was in the update. It wasn't in
Okay, I
the,
gotcha.
your packet.
Right, okay.
Has Silverdale Borough ever paid?
They have not, but they're also included in the workforce group to talk about funding for 2027. When I got hired, it was kind of at a weird time. Their budget was, most places' budget was already done, so talking about funding for 2026 was already off of the table. But Silverdale is actively engaged in the workforce group as well, as far as I
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yes, they are. Would you like to motion to table?
Anything else, Joe?
No, I have a list of questions that I'll try and email you. I don't know if it'll go through,
Okay.
otherwise I'll send it
I
to
can
you.
I
I'd
can
be happy
provide
to
my
send
I have a
it.
Gmail for the
I-
squad too, so I
Oh,
can
okay.
provide a Gmail if you'd like, whatever
Yeah,
works.
either way works.
It could
I'll
be
send
on
it
our
through
end as
Deanna's.
well. Our IT department's not the best.
Yep, I can get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Jim, any further questions?
No, not now, but I'll make a motion to table it.
Okay. Is there a second to
Yeah,
table?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
Thank you.
Item 9C, motion to approve contract increase for Phillips Donovan for Carroll Engineering subcontract. This approval would be for our municipal building renovation project. The increase would be for the subcontractor to complete a boundary and topographical survey on both parcels on our main campus here for the township. And that would be to accurately calculate impervious and proceed with the renovation design that we have been working on for the last year.
Questions or comments from the board?
Can you give us a good update of where we stand with this whole thing?
Sure. So we have the general concept, which was provided to the board, I believe, 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now. In our most recent meeting, we had invited we invited Tim to come and join us. Who sat in. At this point, we are doing some investigative work as to whether or not both of the parcels that the municipal building is on was calculated as part of the impervious when we have done improvements over the years. And we're trying to get a better understanding of exactly what we can do with our outfit. Chief and I have been meeting with the engineers that we had hired, the design team that we had hired with Phillips Donovan to get that concept plan laid out so that most of the needs for immediate growth and updating for all of the things that we needed regarding ADA, safety, and health compliance have been incorporated into that plan.
Do you have a ballpark of how much has been spent on this campus renovation so far?
I have an exact number I can get you. It's not, I don't have it off the top of my head, but I know that we have about 360 or 306,000 remaining on the contract.
Jim? Either one?
Go ahead, John.
Any of the J's?
I'm still trying to get my head around. I know you sent the report out. I honestly haven't had a chance to go back through and see what the budget to actual is and scope. I guess I was a little surprised at the size of the project when I last looked at it. And I'm trying to refresh my memory on how we got to that point. So I guess, how necessary is this right now? Can we defer this until we get a chance to regroup on where everything's at, or is this already in motion and this portion?
So this is it's part of the design. It's all part of the original contract. The increase was just to have Carroll Engineering do the boundary and topographical. They've already completed the general survey for the building. Our records weren't complete, I'll say. So in order for them to get a better idea of the exact measurements of everything, to calculate costs so that we can go out for the grant that we're looking to go for to cover part of the cost for the building piece of this project, they would need to do this survey. And then we would also need it in order to accurately calculate the total impervious that we're permitted to put on the property. Which would then, of course, impact design, would impact the bid for build, would impact all of the next phases.
Right.
I know you sent out a lot of information. I feel a little bit more comfortable if I was able to sit down with you and the guys and kind of figure out where we are, where we're going, what the future plan is. I just feel I'm not caught up with it. That's probably my doing. I know you've sent out a lot of information on it. But
Yeah, I would be happy to meet with the board at any time to discuss it. I didn't know that it was that there were questions remaining.
yeah, just to wrap our heads around, pull my head as to where we are, how we got there, where we're going. Or if seeing the plan from start to finish. I think that'd be helpful for me.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I agree.
comfortable with that, we'll set something up just so we're all on the same page.
Sure, I think it would be helpful to have Chief there as well, since it's really been a group effort. And if you want, as Tim as well, since he was in for the last meeting, but
He looks really
He's
excited
not
by
making
that.
eye contact. He
I
doesn't
will
like-
be here if you want me to.
We're thinking about it.
So at this point, I think it's appropriate to table it. If I can get a motion to table the contract increase for Phillips and Donovan for Carroll Engineering subcontract.
We'll revisit it after we have
Yeah.
get up to speed again, and it is, it's partially on us as well.
It is,
It
there's a lot
is.
of information.
There's a lot of
and
information, so we
trying
just
to
wanna
wrap your
get
head
to speed
around
on
it.
everything we can.
sure, yep. The amount of the contract is $6,000 as
$6,000
well,
bucks, yeah.
just for the record.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable doing it afterwards.
I'll make a motion to table that.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Any public comment? All those in favor?
Aye. It's a big nut. The whole thing.
It is. Okay.
The last item under new business, 9B, motion to authorize Dr. Ferry to sign an MPDES permit for the 309 connector project once plans are returned to support responses on the application on behalf of the township. Now, this does read a little misleading, and that is my fault. We are not applying for the
Right.
MPDES permit. We are just signing off as a municipality. And they did provide us with a questionnaire, to which we then responded back with some questions just so we can adequately complete that questionnaire. And we are still awaiting their response. So this more so is just on the agenda for public information as to where the 309 connector project stands, and at what phase the PennDOT team is at with it, because it has been, especially Supervisor Metzinger, I know you were heavily involved in this, so this is more just for transparency.
Great. Can I get a motion to authorize Dr. Ferry to sign the MPDS permit for the 2009 connector project?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And Deanna, once you think that they are at a state that makes the most sense, we should probably try and get PennDOT back in just to do a,
Little update.
an update, similar to what they did 2 years ago or so.
Put that on the agenda, get people out if they want to discuss and
Yeah.
say, yes, I think that's a great idea.
I would be happy to extend that invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, police chief update.
Good evening. Okay,
How
I
are
have
you, Chris?
reports and information for both January and February for the police department. In January, we handled a total of 688 incidents, made 16 criminal arrests, 43 criminal offenses were reported to us. We had 66 citations, 78 warnings, actually a total of 98 warnings altogether for the month, and we handled 66 traffic crashes for the month. For February, we handled 735 incidents, 27 criminal arrests, 47 criminal offenses, and 121 citations for February, and 151 warnings. And we handled 55 crashes for the month. Any questions on any of that?
How's it compare to 2025?
I don't have a month comparison to it, but I mean, I have year-to-date stuff.
Okay.
So it really wouldn't be a fair comparison without that. I mean, it's probably pretty much in line.
Got it.
I mean, they fluctuate up and down all the time.
Yeah.
And also for those months in Silverdale, we handled, in January, we handled 46 incidents, 2 criminal arrests, and 3 criminal offenses were reported to us. We also handled, issued a number of citations and warnings in the borough. And in February, we handled 40 incidents, 0 criminal arrest, and 2 criminal offenses were reported to us. Have any questions on any of that or any other information regarding any statistical information for the police department?
Can you touch on the reimbursed overtime?
Which part of that? Most of the reimbursed overtime is for traffic safety grant.
Okay,
Yeah, most of that is all that DUI enforcement, stuff like that.
that's all through grants, Chris? And
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, it's all
That's
totally reimbursed.
It's a
through-
sizable amount.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, I do have a contract from Law Enforcement Accreditation Services for the board's consideration to provide accreditation services for the police department for 26, 27, and 28. Actually, the invoices would be due in 27, 28, and 29.
Okay.
This year, the total would be, if I have the page right, maybe I don't have the page right. So one page is stuck together. For 2027, it would be 13,500. In 2028, it would be 14,000. In 2029, it would be 14,500.
Okay.
And what exactly do these guys do?
They do the consulting work for the accreditation. I mean, next month, we will be out in Harrisburg receiving our accreditation certification. They're critical to get us to that point to maintain that
So
certification.
okay.
Yeah, they come in, they get the proofs that we need to be able to prove that we are doing what we say we're doing.
Got it.
Has it been 3 years?
No, the first part of it is 1 year.
Okay.
They just go back 1 year. Then the next phase of it is 3 years. They don't make you do it every year because it would drive you crazy.
Yeah. Agreed. Any questions?
No, none from me.
Any?
No, I'm
Yeah.
good.
The only thing I noticed is that there were 8 lockouts. I think my wife might have been responsible for 6, so I apologize.
Is that under
Is this being
reimbursable
recorded?
overtime? I didn't see that line item.
I got that out.
We know where to send the bill, right?
Could I get a motion to approve law enforcement accreditation service contract 2027 through 2029?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Caleb.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
And the very last thing is, I advised the manager of this, that we will be awarding a commendation to Sergeant Tucholsky for life-saving
Oh, nice.
for a 38-year-old woman who had, original call came in for shortness of breath. When Sergeant Tucholsky arrived, she had actually collapsed and was in cardiac arrest. And together with Shalbrick EMS medics, they brought her back and
Oh, that's awesome.
got it at pulse and got her to the hospital.
Holy cow.
That's great.
Oh, that's great.
And he has opted to take that commendation in private, not in public.
As he, that's too bad.
All right.
I
Any other
guess-
questions?
No, thank you very
Thank-
much.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Public Works update.
Good evening.
Hello, sir.
So, I guess a week or a week and a half ago, I had the pleasure of meeting with the Parks and Rec Committee to go over some improvements and just come up with basically a plan to work with them on any kind of park maintenance and improvements we're going to be doing in the upcoming year. So I laid out some improvements such as paving the walking trail up at the Civic Park. We have to, for maintenance purposes and for insurance purposes, re-wood chip 2 of our playground, one over in Longleaf and one at Blooming Glen, just so they pass the, depth and all that kind of stuff for insurance. Went over all that with them, so it seemed like everything worked out pretty well. So I'm going to continue to do that, feed them the kind of ideas and stuff like that, and we can work together to get them accomplished.
And even though it's already in the budget and already approved, it was great kind of hearing what it means.
Yeah,
You know?
I think it kind of works better too, because that way they're not driving by and seeing us up there just doing things, and then people don't know what they're doing and all that kind of stuff, or what we're doing, so. That's the park side of it. The sign upgrade and maintenance aspect of things, I kind of just wanted to bring that to light. Two of my guys, Mike Cantlin and Harrison, have put an absorbent amount of time and effort into saving the township a crazy amount of money when it comes to resurfacing the signs, reusing posts. We never used to do that. Now we're taking posts down, they're bringing them back to the shop, sanding them, hand sanding them, hand painting them, putting them back up into use. Just kind of keep everything bright, refreshed, keep the signs up, like high vis and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. I mean, their work is, especially in the winter months, it's going a long way. And, you know, it's noticeable. I mean, to somebody like me who notices the signs all the time, it's noticeable. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up. I mean, I asked them to put something short together, and I got a whole page. So, so that was that. The last thing that I wanted to bring up was getting purchase orders signed for a dump truck we're looking to purchase in 2027. So since time immemorial, we've always had to sign purchase orders a year prior. Lead times on these dump trucks is out of control. Just a snow plow for the frame part, not even the blade, is over 300 days out. So it's, in order for timing to all come together, signing purchase orders for the purchase of the chassis, which will come in way before the rest of the truck, but we're going to go with an international this year. They're giving us an additional 6 months on payment, which puts us into 2027 for payment of the chassis, even though it'll be sitting out at Harrisburg at the build center. And then we sign it with the builder, and the body, the central hydraulic system and all that, they coordinate getting all that out to Harrisburg where the truck's going to be built and put it all together. And that's going to be a little over a year out before we see delivery of the truck. So I don't really, it's not like a panic, a rush thing or anything like that, but in order to replace the dump truck that we're looking to move into our backup fleet and then move this one into like our primary use vehicle, it'll be next June before we see the truck, if we sign the purchase orders within the next 30 to 60 days. So I just kind of wanted to bring that information so that you guys have it all. We've never looked at other builders before. We've never looked at other dump trucks before. It's the first year we did it. Just because of the length of time of getting other truck chassis, they've went up in price exponentially since the last time we bought one. So and like I said, it's not something that I'm putting any pressure on anybody, but it's something that I'm trying to get the ball rolling a little bit to stay ahead of it. Because, and and the other thing is, I don't know what the prices will even be 6 months from now, 8 months from now. Everything's going up. So that's about it.
What's the process for that, to get the purchase order signed and
We need the budget adjustment resolution
budget adjustment?
approved by the board, and then we can send the purchase order.
Okay. Even though it's being paid 2027, you adjust this year and
No, I believe we're paying it in 26, correct?
We don't have to. You don't even have to pay for the truck chassis, because if we order the truck chassis in June, we're not getting it for 4 months, and then International gives you another 6 months additional to pay. So that'll put it well into winter, maybe even spring of 2027 before you have to pay for the truck chassis. So you don't have to pay for it in advance. You just have to order it to get it moving so they can build it, so they can paint it and all that kind of stuff. Get it to the truck builder, because we can't even take delivery of it here, because technically we can't register and insure it without the body on the truck because of the GVW and all that kind of stuff. So it has to go to the builder right away. So basically we would sign the purchase order. The truck would hopefully be done by September, go out to the builder, and then International gives you another 6 months additional to pay for that, which I can get obviously before the purchase order is signed. All that stuff can be I have it in documentation here, but it can all be, and we can give it to Jack or whatever, and we can make adjustments to it. It's just, if I go and then it goes into like December, or if it goes into like December, January of next year, by the time the truck even gets out there, the builder won't start ordering material for the truck until that truck is sitting on their property. So the longer it'll sit out there for a good 6 months before they even touch it. But once they have it, then they start ordering materials. So it's like they'll order smaller stuff like the central hydraulic system, the stuff that universally fits every truck, but the specific stuff on that truck, they won't order until the truck's at their ground. So it's kind of weird because you'll get the truck way before you even get the build part of it, but one has to kind of go with the other. So
do you pay for the chassis when the chassis is in, and then, you get an additional 6 months, like you said, so there'll be 2 payments then for the
Yes.
truck? One for the chassis and one for the body or the central hydraulics,
Yep.
whatever the hell you were.
Yeah. So there'll be a payment due, say, January of next
Right.
year. And then the final payment won't be due until May, June, until the builder is done. And that's the final payment. There's no payment installations. They're not asking for any deposits or anything. They just need signed purchase orders to move forward with it. Now, it is binding, obviously. It's not something where I can call in, 8 months and go, bag the whole thing. So it's it is binding to an extent, but it's just, they're not asking for money right now. It's just to get the whole thing rolling. And I mean, it's not like this is probably 5.5 months worth of, research and going back and forth with people, trying to first off, get the best price, but secondly, get better lead times on things as well. I mean, we looked at another truck builder and they told me I wasn't seeing the truck for a year and 9 months, maybe 2 years. So that's where it becomes like, okay, just trying to get this stuff signed and get the ball rolling.
But question for off this. The police department
Mm-hmm.
gives us a breakdown of vehicles normally, like how many miles, when they think they'll be turned over and things like that. I don't think you've ever been requested to do anything like that from us.
I did. Well, I provide.
Is that something we should be doing? It seems like maybe we should.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I have all that information, and I provided like a year ago or so of trucks and equipment that needed to be replaced in the next 5 years. That was provided. Okay. So, and it's because it's not always just trucks. I mean, if one of our backhoes goes and all that stuff, I mean, so it's a little bit different in our aspect because it's not just vehicles. But first, we do have that information, and we provided that information for the next 5 years.
Can we update that annually? Is that something you could just give to us? Because I believe you that you sent it. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't. And I'm sure we did. We get so much information. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a problem at all. And in that way, too, it helps us just kind of like mark things out. I mean, some of our equipment, we don't use it all the time. I mean, I could show you something that's like older than the hills of Texas, but we only use it a couple
and
times.
I understand things can break. That's unexpected, and you're putting it through hostile stuff. I get it.
So this past winter, 3 of our brand new trucks were all over at Bergey's for emission issues. The DEF thing is becoming a huge problem for us. So that's why this backup fleet of vehicles is so important as well. And we try keeping these older trucks for about 4 years, and then we cycle them out.
Would you use the truck that you're proposing to replace? Would you use that specifically for something else? Like, is that going to be a leaf truck? I was going to say, would that be a leaf truck?
It's a huge asset in leaf season. Plus, for the money you'd sell them for, because you don't get a lot of money for them. Those like just above CDL 6-wheeler vehicles, people really don't want to buy them. It's like to have a backup plow truck with a plow, a salt spreader, and everything. You're not going to buy it for less than 10 grand. You know what I mean? So it's like to keep it in the fleet, just in case one of our newer trucks goes down, is imperative. So, like I said, I mean, 3 of them were at Bergey's for. Luckily, it was in between snowstorms, but it was like emission issue, check engine light, and it happens with them just because of the DEF system they're putting on them. And the other thing is, with this truck we're ordering, this is the last year of the remaining DEF system right now. After this year, they're upgrading it again, and then I'll be the guinea pig getting a new system, and that really never works out.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it hasn't for us at least.
And the 06 doesn't have DEF, right?
No, nope. The biggest problem with our trucks is everybody know, they just rot out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's one of those things, they just rot out.
How much money do we have in the account?
About 263,000.
So if this is being paid in 2027, is there any reason we can't submit a purchase order now?
Process is to put it through as a purchase order. And when we had discussed paying out that first piece upon delivery when it was completed, so that it would be out of 2 different years.
Okay.
But it's not now.
Apparently
With
not.
the 6 months extra.
Yeah,
That was
it'll be
discussed.
paid, it'll be paid next year. That's what I'm saying, like, we don't have to pay anything this year.
But
Go ahead.
Dave had recommended we pay it this year. When we had discussed this, the 6-month period had been discussed as well. And if we're receiving, if the truck is getting delivered and we're receiving on it in 26, we should pay it in 26. But it's the board's decision. how-
Receiving, what define,
So
because
if
it's
we're
not coming
getting
here.
No, but it's a truck that we're purchasing and
Mm-hmm.
it's being purchased essentially this year. We just can defer payment for 6 months.
What am I missing?
Mr. Finance guy?
What am I missing?
I would, unless there's, we'll have to see the
Paperwork.
terms of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
contract. If there's a discount to pay it early,
I asked about that and there's not. It's just, International only does that, defer the payment out, because they know you're not technically taking the truck. Because there's nothing, we can't do anything with it, because it has no back to it, so it's like half the truck that you're getting.
Right.
So they just defer that payment out. Now with our Kentworth, the last truck we ordered, we had to pay for the truck because it was like COVID, and it took us 2 years to get all the body parts. And Kentworth came to us and said, "Hey, listen, you got to pay us at some point here." But that was almost a year after the truck sat out there that we paid them. So it was like, that's why they do that grace period, I'll call it, of deferring the payment, because the truck's done, but it's not ours, and we can't, like, we couldn't just take it and go driving down the road. You can't even put it on insurance.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing we can do with it until the builder's done. But at the same time, I guess they can't be beholden to the builder, because it's like, sometimes those parts take forever to get in. So it's totally up to you guys about taking the deferred payment thing. It's just, that's the way they always do it. And when we do these signed purchase orders, that's the way we've done it for the rest of the trucks that we've gotten.
So if we sign the purchase order in 26, bookkeeping wise, you're saying we should make payment. Is that what you're saying?
If it's being processed in 26, yeah. But this wasn't a purchase that we had budgeted. So
At the resolution of money?
if we're
Yeah.
signing for a truck, if we're buying a truck, it should be budget adjustment.
Okay. Any objection to a budget adjustment from the group?
Sounds like it makes sense to get it, and if what you're telling us, DEF thing does concern me, that they're putting out a new system.
Yeah.
And that never does go well.
It hasn't for us. Every time we're like the first
Every
guy.
time they change
Yep.
software at the sewer plants, it never goes well for
And
us.
anymore with that DEF stuff, we can't even work on it in-house, because they update their computer systems constantly with their scanners. So we don't even know what's wrong with the truck. You have to take it to the dealership. Then they tell you it's sending units, it's this, it's that, and there's nothing we can do about it. So it's just, as bad as the old system is, I'm afraid that the new system is going to be even worse, because they're trying to restrict mileage and all that kind of stuff anyway. And then the next thing you know, I'm the first guy in line, and the truck's sitting over at International for half the time that we have it. So
Are we missing anything with the budget adjustment? Like,
I guess worst case though, right? If we did the budget adjustment and process payment, if we deferred payment, it would just roll to the next year, right?
You just
Which
run
would
it,
probably
right?
be the best thing to do anyway, because otherwise there's a chance we forget about it. You know what I mean? If we have a PO out there that we don't pay until
Isn't on the
27,
budget.
right?
It'll be on the, right, it'll be
Yeah,
there
then we
On the book.
on the books,
Yeah,
right?
then we won't lose sight of it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Should Jack go through all this paperwork and everything and make sure?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'd probably want to see the terms.
Yeah.
You can just get me a copy. Oh, you got it right? Okay.
That's the bill.
Are these, I can have them? Okay, thank you.
Jack, should I get a copy?
Yeah, I'll probably.
So, last year there was a lot of conversation about spraying.
Mm-hmm.
We're in spring. I've already started mine.
Yep.
What are we doing this year?
I had asked Deanna about spraying the parks.
Yeah.
And I guess we're gonna forego doing that. We did one application last year and then didn't do it. Is the spraying of, the park system and the building, I mean, everybody has their opinions about spraying and stuff like that. I can only attest to the past. The baseball field, I guess, 6 years ago, we lost the whole outfield to grubs. I mean, and then the skunks came in and they tore the whole thing up. So the pesticides, the herbicides they use and all that stuff, I guess it's kind of like a necessary evil if you want nice grass. That's just, like I said, it's just an opinion. I remember years ago when we didn't spray here, it was just a dandelion field because all they did was they would just blow across the street and then you'd just have them everywhere. But,
Can I ask why that decision was made not to spray?
We last year received a number of complaints from residents about the spray. The company that came in, I think it was
lawn doctor.
Lawn Doctor, had said that they were going to put signage up. They didn't put signage up.
Yeah,
When
they did.
had sprayed, there were people in the park. There were little kids that were sitting in the grass and on the fields, and there was minimal notices that were put up by the company to let everyone know that there were issues. I was communicating with Bud to get signs out there, but the signs were small because we didn't have time to print out big signs because it was supposed to come from Lawn Doctor. So we had a lot of issues with the people that were residents that were at our parks with the process last year.
Yeah, I believe legally the signs have to be a certain size, and they're not huge. But is there a way we can rectify that?
Yeah, I mean, last year they put more signs out than they ever have in the past, like the smaller signs.
Yeah,
The best way to rectify it is you just close the park. You close the park while they're there and they spray, and then once it dries, in theory, it's safe to, go on. Because it's not like, especially here, they don't just they won't just come. Like if last year we pushed them off 4 different times. You call them and say, hey, come do it this way. Moyers used to do it, and they would be out spraying in the pouring rain. And it was like, okay. But Lawn Doctor's first off, their prices are good. And secondly, they'll work with you a lot more of when you want to do it. So we could just technically close the park because Jamie Wetzel did it for us a couple years ago, and that's what we did. We just closed the park down.
So, Bud, can you work with them on application timing? I mean,
Yeah.
The REI is like 12 hours, so
Mhm.
it's re-entry interval. If they spray it,
Mhm.
it's a re-entry interval. If you
Oh.
spray. Sorry.
Farm,
Yeah, I know.
farm
Farm
job.
talk
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, here we go.
If they spray at 6 o'clock at night, you're
Yeah.
good.
I mean, and they'll put the signs out. It's just, they're small like
Yeah,
marker
legally
signs.
They have to be like 4 inches or
Do
something.
you recommend closing the park?
What's that?
Do you recommend closing the park?
It's easier for them. It's a lot easier for them because especially if you have people walking down, they stop. And you know what I mean? It's like it takes them a lot longer to do it, and especially even if you're doing here, there's nobody here. So like if you do it in the late afternoon after everybody kind of leaves, and it's the police department and stuff like that, but they'll gladly work with us on it. I know that.
As the guy who's always worried about liability, I would like to see you close the park.
I don't remember asking you, Worstel.
And last year we had to reschedule because they proposed dates that we had already had reservations on the park because spring season has already started.
But you have to work around that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd hate to see
Me
numerous
too.
years of not spraying. I mean,
It-
I'm not a big chemical guy.
No, I'm not. But the thing is that once it goes,
Yeah.
it'll take us 6 years to get it back. And it's like I said, the outfield of the baseball field. If you go walk the grass out there, there's patches as big as this room. They're still dead. We've never been able to get the grass back because as soon as we go to seed, they want to use the baseball field, and it's like it never really you know what I mean? It'll never have time to catch, but The spraying, yeah, it's almost like if you want nice grass, it's like a necessary evil. But
Are you guys all right if Bud reaches out to the lawn doctor and see if he can set something up, and if we close the
Yeah.
park, Deanna?
I mean, I'll give you all the information
As
you
long
need.
as it's not reserved.
Yeah.
You guys work out how to close it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Anything else for Public Works?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So, Park and Rec update, we had a meeting, as Bud was saying, a couple weeks ago. And we've been working on this camera and lighting project since October of 2025. And although it says motion, I'm gonna erase that. I'm not gonna make a motion tonight. But I'm just curious as to, there's a lot of options with these cameras. Let me find my handout and I can walk you through some of them. I got 3 of them somewhere.
Come on, Mike.
Yeah.
In the back.
There you go.
Do you have the estimate part 2?
I do not think so.
There you go, left them all in the back.
Yeah.
Very prepared tonight.
Let me go grab one for you.
Oh, here they are. That's one.
Hey.
So,
Thank you, Dan.
So in our presentation from the gentleman who was a security consultant, he talked about different cameras, and he has basic cameras that run for, let's see, about $548. And these are motorized cameras, they're white and somewhat mobile. And we had talked about putting those around the concession stand. But then he whipped out the Grand Poobah cameras, which are pretty insane. They have AI on them. They have loudspeakers. Chris, if there's a crime there, you can say to the computer, hey, find the guy in the blue jacket, and it will go right to the guy in the blue jacket, or purple Chevy truck, and it will go right to that. It's insane. Also has loudspeakers, and the AI will yell at the person and say, hey, you're not supposed to be in this park. Get out of here.
It's another officer.
That's perfect. That's perfect during the time when we're spraying.
The problem with these is they're pretty
Oh my-
expensive.
I would think so.
Yeah, they run, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 a camera. So before we continue with this project, is there any interest in having these crazy cameras, or should we investigate the more simple ones?
Do they need internet? Are they
So
wireless? How
what
does
would
this
happen
work?
is the concession stand, they all run off of cellular service.
Okay.
So the box would be stored in the concession stand over there, and as long as you have signal on your phone, you have signal on these cameras.
Okay.
And they are solar. So you don't necessarily need electric for the ones out by the basketball court, the tennis court, things like that.
But you need a sunny day.
Yeah, I think the battery lasts a few days, so
Okay.
if you have a very long solar eclipse, you'll still be okay.
Interesting.
But the total estimate for what we determined was going to be like 7 cameras comes to $23,500 because of these really fancy cameras. And I just want some direction from the board as to what we should be looking at.
I don't know that we need to
They're
see
really
Alpha
cool,
Centauri.
but I don't know that we need them
I don't know that we need to do
Sounds
that.
And Chris, obviously we tie you into this and have you work on where they should be located, regular cameras or whatever we decide. But I'm looking for a little direction because I was a little shocked at the price. Initially we were talking, $600 or $700 a camera, and then it jumped to 6,000 or 7,000. So that's why we're not making a motion tonight. But any interest in pursuing those?
I mean, they're interesting, but I don't know.
I think they're
It seems to
overkill.
me like you would need somebody watching them.
The AI watches them.
Uh,
I know, it
might
makes you
need a
really
data
comfortable, doesn't it?
What's that?
I'm-
Might need a data center.
Yeah, I know. We'll need a small nuclear facility to run these things.
Tim.
I
All right.
think. Yeah.
Well, I'll go back to the committee and kind of suggest we stay away from the ones with the speakers, the AI, and focus more on the simple ones for an estimate for you. Additionally, we have had a gentleman working on a lighting project out there since September as well. He has spent almost a week of his time mapping out where wires would go and all that other fun stuff.
Lighting for,
The courts. So
Oh.
that's the big question. He has not shared his work with us yet.
does this man exist?
I've never met him.
Sounds like Mark Twain.
He might. And if you guys can think about Civic Park, if there's certain parts that you would not care for lighting on versus ones that you think we should light, we can kind of steer the conversation in that direction as well. You can get back to us at any point.
Can you get something from him? It's what he's been looking at, at least to give us a general idea.
He's a little hesitant to submit his work because he doesn't want anybody to steal it, since it took him almost a week to map it out and everything. So, is that a correct interpretation, Bud? Would you say? Yeah. Okay.
Who's gonna steal it?
Another contractor that
Oh, my
does lighting.
Lord.
So, I think he.
I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do too. I'm gonna shop it
Well,
now.
just sign this non-disclosure agreement. I'm
exactly.
Sure he'd share it, but
Holy moly.
if there's anything at Civic Park that you don't think we should worry about lights on,
Civic Park
let us
lighting.
know. And
All
same
right.
thing with Chris. But
Okay.
Said the lighting experts keeping us in the dark.
Well said.
all right, excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
One last thing.
Manager update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One update for today regarding a meeting that, Mr. Chairman, you had actually requested that I try to get together to coordinate with residents along Forest Road and with DEP. I have brought in our state representative, Ms. Shelby Labs, to try to help facilitate, and her chief of staff, Sean O'Connor. I was just following up with Sean today, actually, to try and get the latest on this. So we had conversations with DEP to try and get them out. At this point, they are not committing to a meeting.
Shocker.
So we are still going back and forth to try and have them come to discuss where they are with their evaluation with our residents. But at this time, unfortunately, they have not given us any dates for when they can come out. So regardless as to whether or not DEP does make it to a meeting with the township and the residents, we are going to be continuing to do our monitoring through the end of 2026, as we have committed to over the last year and a half. And we have received the quarter one report, the quarter four report, which we had updated everybody on in February. And we anticipate to have the quarter one report from 2026 by the April meeting. So more updates to come.
Thank you for staying on top of DEP. I know that's not easy. Okay. Supervisors' comments. I have none. Public comment? Seeing none. Yes, come on up.
I was just curious, Chuck Kalesa, Diamond Street. I was just curious on the Diamond Street project, if Hilltown Water and Sewer had, well, first of all, you guys have capacity for this, right? Yeah. Do you have any use for any of the property, the open space property there, for municipal use?
You mean for wells or something like that?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
That area, for lack of a better word, is pretty barren with respect to like a water withdrawal or something like that. We've done a lot of hydrogeologic studies over the area. The best place right now is over by Regency, and we actually have a lot there that at some point would be developed into another well.
What about for like sewer part of it?
Meaning what, a sewer plant?
Well, I don't know. You have a main that goes right down through that creek there. I guess it's a gravity main.
It's a gravity line, yeah, that runs through there.
And I don't know. Could you put like a big old spray irrigation field up in that?
Spray irrigation's tough, Chuck, in this area due to the soils and things like, you know how.
I'm just thinking that big forested area up there. What are we going to do with that? That's what I'm wondering.
I would think we would just leave it alone, right? We wouldn't do anything with it. I think we would just leave it as woods. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay. Anybody else? Any public comment? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:27?
moved.
Is there a second?
I will second that at 8:28. No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys.